It was the kind of town where everyone knew your name, where the gas station clerk waved to you every morning and where secrets weren't supposed to exist. But in the summer of 1997, Coldwater, Missouri learned that even the quietest towns can carry the darkest secrets. July 14th, 8:12 a.m. Rachel Finley, 17 years old, never showed up to her lifeguard shift at Coldwater Community Pool. Her mother, Lorraine, called her cell repeatedly, straight to voicemail. By noon, the search had begun. By nightfall, the fear had set in. Rachel's car was found 3 blocks from her house. Driver's side door locked. Purse still inside. Keys on the seat. And on the passenger side floor mat, a single dried magnolia blossom. Sheriff Alan McCarthy, lead investigator, remembers it vividly. We dusted for prints, nothing usable, no signs of forced entry. It was as if she got out willingly, and then just vanished. The blossom puzzled investigators. Magnolias don't grow in Coldwater. They bloom 3 towns over. By day 3, the town had posted over 2,000 flyers. Volunteers combed the woods. Helicopters scanned nearby field. No trace of Rachel. Then an anonymous tip. A woman's voice. Muffled, shaky. I saw her, on Route 22. She was crying. She got in a dark green truck. I think she knew him. There were no traffic cams on Route 22 in 1997. But one witness, David Clemmer, a retired mailman, claimed he saw a similar truck. It was a 90s Dodge Ram. Mud on the fender, no plates, I seen it around before, always idling by the diner, real slow. Leads came and went. Dozens of green trucks in a 100-mile radius, no arrests, no suspects. Until 6 years later. In 2003, on the outskirts of Coldwater, a construction crew digging a new foundation struck something hard. A rusted tin box. Inside, soaked pages from a journal. The name Rachel scribbled repeatedly in frantic handwriting. And one phrase underlined over and over. He said I'd never be found. The journal contained no dates, no names, only initials, RF and G. G. Gerald Whitman, Coldwater's former high school guidance counselor. Fired in 1996. No public reason given. And in 1997, he disappeared. No known address and no bank activity and no paper trail. To this day, Gerald Whitman has never been located. No family came forward. No forwarding address. As if he vanished too. Forensic analysis could not confirm the journal's author. But the writing style matched Rachel's school essays. When shown the pages, Rachel's mother simply whispered, "That's my daughter's heart on paper." In 2018, a podcast reignited interest in the case. Hundreds of tips flooded in. One listener submitted a photo taken in 2001 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In the background, a young woman at a bus terminal. Head down, red hoodie. Holding a magnolia blossom. Enhancements were inconclusive. The woman's face obscured. Was it Rachel? Or was it the small town clinging to hope? 25 years later, Coldwater still sets a chair for her at the annual 4th of July parade. No arrest. No closure. Only whispers. And a single question echoing through time. Did she run, or was she taken? Rachel Finley was last seen on July 14, 1997. If you have any information, contact Coldwater Police Department at 573-555-0198. This was Vanished Whispers True Crime. Don't forget to subscribe. Because sometimes the most chilling cases are the ones that remain unsolved. The years passed and the town of Coldwater tried to move on, but every so often a new detail would surface, something that pulled the case back into the spotlight. In 2005, a routine cold case review unearthed new witness statements, and for the first time, the public heard fragments of what happened that summer night. Sound of shuffling papers, detective voice, low and measured. Let the record show this is the official interview with Cheryl Evans, conducted August 3, 2005. Cheryl, can you tell us what you saw? Cheryl, voice wavering. I was closing up at the diner, around 11:45 p.m. I saw a girl look like Rachel. She was standing at the payphone, kept looking over her shoulder. There was a green truck parked across the street, headlights off, just waiting. Detective, did you see who was inside? Cheryl, no, just a shape, big guy, he didn't get out. She hung up, crossed the street and got in the passenger side, like she'd done it before. Static, then another voice. Officer Transcript. Interview with Brian Haskins, conducted August 10, 2005. Bryant, I was walking my dog past the old mill, maybe midnight, heard crying, not loud but like someone was trying not to be heard. Then a truck door slammed, tires squealed. Bryant, by the time I got there the lot was empty. Just found a shoe. White, size 7. I turned it in but nobody ever asked about it again. But it wasn't just the witnesses. New evidence began to surface. Items missed in the initial search. In 2007, a fisherman dredged up a rusted locket from the Coldwater Creek, engraved with the initials RF inside, a faded photo of Rachel and an older man, face scratched out, forensic voiceover. The locket was tested for prints. None. But under the photo, a message, scratched in shaky handwriting, trust no one, not even him. The deeper investigators dug, the stranger the case became. Police audio logs revealed tense exchanges, arguments over missing files, evidence misplaced, phone records that vanished without explanation. Detective transcript, we're missing the call logs from July 13th, who signed them out, unidentified voice. They were here last week, I swear. By 2010, rumors spread that someone within the department was obstructing the case, but no proof ever surfaced. And so, the mystery only deepened. New witnesses, new evidence, but no answers. Only a growing sense of unease, that the truth about Rachel Finley's disappearance was buried deeper than anyone imagined. What really happened that night in Coldwater? And who, if anyone, is still keeping the town's darkest secret? Just when the case seemed lost in a maze of rumors and dead ends, a shocking twist jolted the Coldwater investigation back to life. In 2015, an anonymous letter arrived at the police station, postmarked from a neighboring county. Inside, a single Polaroid photo, Rachel Finley, unmistakable in her varsity jacket, standing outside a rundown motel. The photo was dated July 14, 1998, the day after she vanished. The letter read, "You're looking in the wrong place. Ask about room 12. Detectives rushed to the motel, but decades had passed. The room was stripped bare, the manager long gone. Still, forensic teams uncovered a hidden compartment under the floorboards. Inside, a torn page from Rachel's diary. Rachel's handwriting, shaky. He says I can trust him, says no one else will understand. If anything happens, check the phone records. Not all calls go through the switchboard." But the phone records from that night were once again missing. Detective, we need those motel guest logs. Who checked into room 12 on July 13th? Unidentified officer. They're gone, sir. All records from that week shredded. Internal order, signed off by Captain Myers. Detective, Myers retired in '09. Who authorized this? Then a new witness stepped forward. An elderly woman, Mrs. Calder, claimed she'd seen Rachel at the motel that night, arguing with a man in uniform. She remembered the badge, the flash of a gold ring. Mrs. Calder, voice trembling. He told her to keep quiet, said she'd ruin everything. But when pressed, Mrs. Calder's story shifted. Sometimes the man was tall, other times short, his face a blur in her memory. Was she remembering the truth, or the whispers that had haunted Coldwater for years? Conflicting accounts, missing logs, a diary page lost, then found. And always the shadow of someone within the town or the department determined to keep the past buried. So what really happened to Rachel Finley? Was she running from someone or running with them? Did she trust the wrong person, or was the whole town part of a secret too dangerous to reveal? The answers remain just out of reach, and somewhere in Coldwater, someone still knows the truth. As investigators dug deeper, a new lead emerged, one that would shatter the Finley family's carefully guarded silence. In the attic of the old Finley home, hidden beneath a floorboard, detectives found a battered red diary. It belonged not to Rachel, but to her estranged older sister, Emily Finley. Its pages, filled with guilt, longing, and secrets, would cast the case in a haunting new light. Emily was brought in for questioning. The interview, tense and emotional, revealed the pain she'd carried for decades. Detective, recorded. "Emily, can you tell us about the diary we found?" Emily, voice trembling. "I wrote in it after Rachel disappeared. I needed to remember. She was scared that summer. She kept saying someone was watching her. At first I thought she was being dramatic, but then she stopped sleeping. She started locking her door at night." Detective, did Rachel ever tell you who she was afraid of? Emily, she called him the Watcher, said he wore a badge, but she wouldn't say more. Only that he knew things about our family. Things I didn't even know. Detective, what sort of things? Emily, voice breaking. "Our dad had a gambling problem. Owed money to the wrong people. Rachel thought the Watcher was using it to threaten her. She wanted to run away, but I told her she was being paranoid. I should have listened. I was her big sister. I should have protected her." Emily's regret hangs heavy in the air. Her diary reveals Rachel's growing terror, her isolation, and a mysterious figure who seemed to haunt her every step. The truth about Rachel's final days, it seems, may have been hiding in plain sight, buried in the pain of those who loved her most. As the investigation turns inward, one question remains: was Rachel betrayed by someone she trusted, or by the secrets her family tried so hard to keep? Just when the case seemed to be unraveling, a new voice stepped out of the shadows. Hank Morrison, a retired truck driver haunted by memories he could no longer keep buried, contacted the authorities. His confession would cast a chilling new light on the night Rachel Finley disappeared. "Mr. Morrison, you said you have information about Rachel Finley's disappearance?" "Yeah, I never told anyone. Not until now. That night I was pulling off Route 6 around midnight. Saw a girl on the shoulder, soaked, looking scared out of her mind. She flagged me down, said her name was Rachel." "What did she say to you?" "She kept looking over her shoulder, said, 'He's following me, don't let him catch up.' I asked who. She just said, 'He's got a badge, he knows everything about my family.' She begged me not to call the cops." "Did you see anyone else?" "Yeah. Black sedan pulled into the lot, real slow. Guy steps out, stays in the shadows. I couldn't see his face, but he watched us. Rachel freaked. She shoved something into my hands, a jacket, blood on the sleeve, and a ripped photo. Told me, 'If something happens, give these to the police.' Then she ran. Why didn't you come forward before? I was scared. Whoever that man was, he wasn't just any cop. He gave me a look I'll never forget. I thought I'd be next." Hank's confession introduces a new suspect, a shadowy figure with a badge. The blood-stained jacket and torn photograph add a disturbing layer of evidence. As detectives piece together Rachel's final hours, the truth grows darker, and the circle of suspects expands. The mystery of Rachel Finley's disappearance is far from over. As investigators dig deeper, a hidden audio recording surfaces, one that will shatter the town's carefully guarded facade. The tape, discovered in the archives of the old town hall, captures a midnight meeting held decades earlier, just after Rachel Finley vanished. Sheriff Dalton's voice, weary but resolute, echoes on the tape. "We all agreed, no one outside this room needs to know what happened, for the good of the town, for our families." Another voice, trembling. Mrs. Harper, Rachel's guidance counselor. "But what about Rachel? Her mother's still out there searching. We can't just pretend." A third voice interrupts. "Principal Reeves, if this gets out it'll ruin us all. The sheriff's right, we stick to the story." As detectives transcribe the recording, the truth becomes undeniable. Rachel's disappearance wasn't just a tragedy, it was a secret pact, forged by those sworn to protect her. Rachel's mother, voice trembling, "All this time you let me believe she just ran away. You let me grieve alone." The revelation tears through the community. Long-held alliances crumble. The sheriff resigns in disgrace. School officials face angry crowds. And Rachel's mother, her heart broken anew, demands justice for her daughter. And for every secret the town tried to bury. The pact that once held the town together has finally been exposed. But as the dust settles, one question remains. Who among them will finally tell the whole truth? As the first rays of sunrise wash over Coldwater, the town awakens to a new day, and a new beginning. After decades of silence, the truth finally comes to light. Rachel Finley never ran away. She was a victim of a tragic accident on the night she vanished. Emily, her younger sister, burdened by guilt, confesses the truth in her diary: a heated argument, a stumble and a fall by the old quarry. Panicked and afraid, Emily ran for help, but found only adults desperate to protect their own. The pact was born not from malice but from fear. A fear that spiraled into decades of secrecy and pain. Sheriff Dalton and Principal Reeves face charges for obstruction and conspiracy, while Mrs. Harper steps forward to help lead the town's healing. Hank, whose roadside confession helped crack the case, is finally at peace after years of torment. For the Finley family, the truth brings both sorrow and release. Rachel's mother, surrounded by friends and neighbors, lays flowers by the quarry, a place now marked with a memorial bench and Rachel's name. Emily, forgiven, is finally able to embrace her family without the weight of her secret. At the annual Coldwater parade, Rachel's chair, kept empty for all these years, is gently removed. In its place, the Finleys walk together, hand in hand, while the crowd rises in silent tribute. The town, once fractured by secrets, comes together to remember Rachel, not as a mystery but as a daughter, a sister, and a friend. As the camera pans over the sunrise, we're left with a community forever changed, but finally healing, ready to face the future with honesty, hope, and the promise to never let silence win again. Just as the dust of truth seems to settle over Coldwater, a ripple of unease stirs the quiet town once more. In the early hours after the memorial, a mysterious stranger, an outsider with a weathered coat and piercing eyes, steps off the morning bus. He introduces himself only as Mr. Gray, claiming to have known Rachel Finley in the months before her disappearance. Word spreads quickly. The townsfolk, still raw from recent revelations, gather at the diner as Mr. Gray produces a worn envelope filled with photographs and letters, none of which the Finleys recognize. In his steady voice, Mr. Gray recounts late-night phone calls with Rachel, secret meetings by the old train tracks, and a cryptic warning she once gave him: "If anything happens to me, don't believe what they tell you." He presents a faded photograph showing Rachel with a group of unfamiliar faces, one of whom bears a striking resemblance to a young Mrs. Harper. The town's trusted teacher, now a pillar of healing, is suddenly cast in a new, uncertain light. As Mr. Gray shares unsettling stories of a hidden life Rachel may have led, doubt creeps back into Coldwater's collective heart. Did the town truly know Rachel Finley? Or did they bury more than just the truth that night? Murmurs of conspiracy and cover-up echo through the streets once more. The scene ends with Mr. Gray slipping a sealed envelope into Emily's hand outside the memorial bench. "Read this alone," he whispers, before vanishing into the morning fog. Emily's trembling fingers hover over the seal as the screen fades to black. Who is Mr. Gray? What secrets remain hidden beneath Coldwater's surface? And is the truth ever truly known? The answers, it seems, are still waiting in the shadows. As Emily disappears into the fog with Mr. Gray's envelope pressed tight to her chest, the camera lingers on the town's aging detective, Sheriff Paul Hargrove, standing alone beneath the flickering street lamp. His eyes follow the stranger's path, haunted and hollow. In a sudden surge of memory, the narrative shifts. Flashbacks flicker across the screen. We see a younger Hargrove, years earlier, sitting in a dimly lit interrogation room. Across from him sits Mr. Gray, but he looks different, clean-shaven, nervous, and clutching a file marked Rachel Finley. Their conversation is tense. Mr. Gray pleads for the investigation to look beyond the obvious suspects, hinting at a web of secrets involving powerful townsfolk. Hargrove, under pressure from his superiors, coldly dismisses the warnings, his jaw clenched with frustration and fear. Back in the present, Hargrove's composure cracks as he returns to his cluttered office. He opens a locked drawer, pulling out an old letter. Rachel's handwriting unmistakable. Tears glisten in his eyes as he reads her final words. "Trust is poison here. If you're reading this, it's already too late." Suddenly, Mr. Gray appears in the doorway. The two men face each other, the years of silence and regret hanging thick between them. In a raw, whispered exchange, Gray accuses Hargrove of turning a blind eye, of sacrificing Rachel's truth for his own career. Hargrove breaks down, confessing his guilt and the nightmares that have haunted him since that night. "I thought I was protecting the town," he chokes, "but all I did was bury the truth deeper." Their confrontation hints at something larger, a network of secrets, lies, and powerful figures who would do anything to keep Coldwater's darkest stories hidden. As Mr. Gray leaves, Hargrove collapses at his desk, consumed by remorse. The camera lingers on the letter, Rachel's words echoing, "Don't believe what they tell you." The emotional weight is palpable. The cost of silence, the burden of guilt, and the shadowy threads of conspiracy stretch far beyond one missing girl. As dawn breaks over Coldwater, it's clear, the truth has only just begun to surface. The sun barely crests the horizon as Coldwater stirs, but its people are already awake, summoned by a single shattering revelation. In the heart of the sheriff's station, an old dust-caked cassette recorder sits on the evidence table, its spools turning with a reluctant whir. Sheriff Hargrove's trembling hand hovers over the play button, his face ashen. Around him, Emily, Mr. Gray, and a cluster of townsfolk gather, drawn by the promise and dread of answers. A click, static crackles. Then the tape's contents spill into the silence, hurried footsteps on gravel, a girl's frantic breathing, muffled voices arguing in the darkness. Suddenly, Rachel's voice, raw, desperate, pleading, cuts through. "Please, someone help me! He's not who you think he is!" Her cry is drowned by a scuffle, the sound of a car door slamming and the screech of tires tearing into the night. The room holds its breath as a new voice, distorted and low, hisses a warning. "If you want to see the morning, keep your mouth shut." A chilling silence follows, broken only by Rachel's whispered, "No, please," before the tape warps and distorts, leaving a final agonizing scream echoing in the room. The tape cuts off. Shock ripples through the crowd. Faces pale. Old suspicions are reignited and new ones are born. Some recognize the arguing voices, others the threat. Names are whispered. Accusations simmer. Hargrove's gaze meets Emily's, both realizing that the truth is darker and closer than anyone dared imagine. The camera lingers on the stopped tape, its black ribbon wound tight, as the weight of Rachel's final plea settles over Coldwater. In the silence, the town's secrets tremble, waiting for the next revelation. As the first rays of sunlight bleed across Coldwater, the townspeople gather in the old community hall, a place once filled with laughter, now heavy with accusation and grief. Sheriff Hargrove stands at the center, his badge shining dully in the morning light. Around him, Emily grips her sister's diary. Mr. Gray's hands tremble at his sides, and Hank lingers at the back, shadowed by guilt. The cassette tape sits on the table between them, a silent judge. Hargrove clears his throat, voice raw. "We all heard it. No more secrets. Not today." Emily steps forward, her voice breaking as she reads a final entry from Rachel's diary, a confession of fear, but also of hope that the truth would one day set them free. Tears streak her cheeks as she locks eyes with Hank. "Why didn't you come forward?" she whispers. Hank's shoulders sag. He confesses to seeing Rachel that night, helping her escape from someone she trusted, someone in this very room. All eyes turn to Mr. Gray, whose mask finally slips. He admits his role, not as a monster, but as a man desperate to protect the town's reputation, making choices that spiraled out of control. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Some cry, others rage, years of suspicion now given shape. Yet, as the truth unravels, a strange sense of relief settles over the room. Emily forgives Hank, her voice shaky but resolute. Hargrove, tears in his eyes, promises to reopen the case, not for vengeance, but for justice. As the sun climbs higher, the townsfolk begin to disperse, changed by what they've learned and by what still remains unsaid. Emily lingers, gazing at the empty chair where Rachel should have been. The camera pulls back, revealing the hall's cracked windows, the dust motes swirling in the light, reminders that, while some secrets have been uncovered, others will always haunt Coldwater. And somewhere in the hush after the storm, Rachel's voice echoes still, unanswered but never forgotten.